Commerce. Form 5 Lower. Third midterm. SOW Contents. 3.2 Source of Finance. 3.3 Methods of Payment. In this session, we will be discussing sources of finance. Learning objective. End of this session, you will be able to understand the venture capital, retained profits, and share capital. Money is needed to set up a business and to keep it running. It is also needed to help a business expand. When raising money, businesses have to decide which source of finance is best for their need. They often have to choose between long-term and the short-term sources. Under these long-term sources, we are going to discuss about the venture capital. What is meant by venture capital? Money provided by specialist investors or individual for businesses purpose. It is type of private equity capital. It's provide long-term committed share capital. Let's watch a video. What is meant by venture capital? Hope it will give you a more knowledge about the venture capital.
Venture capitalists will make in a business which they believe has huge growth potential. Venture capital provides long-term committed share capital to help companies grow and succeed. Venture capitalists typically prefer to invest in entrepreneurial businesses. Obtaining venture capital is very different from taking out a loan with a bank. Banks have a legal right to interest on a loan and repayment of the capital, regardless of whether the business is a success.
Hope that now you all have understood what is the venture capital. While we are learning the venture capital, there are some important things that we have to learn. Venture capitalists. They are the specialists in the provisions of the fund for the small and the medium-sized business. They may be invested after individual set up and often perform the technology computers. Venture capitalists are the individual and maybe called business angel. Let's watch a video about the business angels.
A venture capitalist, or VC for short, is a professional investor that manages a venture fund. These funds are similar to mutual funds, but instead of investing in stocks, they invest in privately held startup companies. In exchange for investing in these startups before they become proven businesses, venture capitalists can receive substantial stakes, and if the companies go on to become successful publicly traded entities, the venture fund can earn tremendous profits. On the day Twitter went public, for example, a VC fund called Union Square Ventures made an estimated $1 billion in profit. But all those profits don't go directly to the venture capitalist. Since VCs manage other people's money, they split the profits with their investors. Generally, the investors receive 80% of the profits, the VC receives 20%. To illustrate this point, let's look at an example. Let's say a VC fund invests $100 million into a number of different companies, and over time, those companies grow to become worth $300 million. Well, in that case, the venture firm would have created $200 million in total profits. Of that $200 million, the investors would receive 80% of the profits, or $160 million, and the VC would receive 20%, or $40 million. With returns like these, it's no surprise that investors from around the world are trying to get into these funds. Unfortunately, the minimum investment for these funds is very high. Sometimes it's several $million, so most individual investors can't afford it. That being said, individual investors can invest in startups on their own. Individuals who invest on their own are called angel investors. Angels invest their own money, and they keep 100% of the profits. Under current SEC regulations, only wealthy investors can be angels. Specifically, to be an angel investor, you need to have a net worth of at least $1 million, or you need to earn at least $200,000 in annual income, or $300,000 if combined with your spouse. But these regulations are about to change. It's all because of a new set of laws known as the Jobs Act. These laws will allow all investors, regardless of their net worth or income, to invest in high-potential, early-stage companies.
The second source of finance is retained profit. Retained profit is the profit that has not been returned to the owner. It's retained by the business. It's an important source of finance for the business because it's cheap. There are no changes such as interest and dividends. However, if profit is used by the business, it cannot be retained to the owner. Some owners might be object to this. Retained profit is also flexible source of finance. Below video will give you more knowledge about the retained capital.
Retained profits simply show the amount of profits left in the business over the years, which in turn helps support the finances of the company's assets. In this case, the retained profits balance is roughly 3 times the amount of issued share capital.
Hope that you all have understood what is the retained profit. Now let's move to the next source of finance. It is share capital. For a limited company, share capital is likely to be the most important source of finance. The sales of shares can raise away the large amount of the money. The shares of public limited companies are sold in the special share market called the stock market or stock exchange. Shares in the private limited companies are transferred privately. Shareholders, because they are part of owners of these business and entitled to the vote. One of the vote is allowed for each shareholders. Imagine that you own a textiles and it's working well. And then you will be able to solely enjoy all the profits, but you will be suffering with all the losses because you are the only persons that run the business. And what is the money that you invested in your business is known as the capital. As your textiles is growing well and you wanted to expand your business in the local areas, you will need more capital. In order to obtain more capital, you will invite your friends to join your business. Now, you all will share all the profits and the loss which is faced in the business according to your shares. Now, well, it was more developed, and now you were feeling that you wanted to expand more your business. So you have an idea. So you might be thinking, oh, how am I going to get a lot of monies for my business? So what can I do it? While you are thinking, you might be having an idea. Can you ask to the general public for their money? Yes, of course. Then how are you going to do it? Well, you can go door to door asking the money? No. This is the place where the share is involved in your business. If you want to issue the shares, it's your company. So the first procedures, you have to register your business as a company. So then you can establish or you can issue your shares to the general public, and then the general public will be started to buy the shares from your business, and then they will become a shareholder. Exactly what is the share? A small unit of the capital of the company is known as the share capital. So when you buy a shares, definitely you will get a certificate which is mention the business name and the value of the business and the shares. So this value of the share is known as the face value. But you have to remember this face value will never change. Then have you noticed in the TVs and things, there's the two, red and the green arrow mark shows its high and the low. It is how your shares will be changing the prices in the market. So as the face value will never change, the market value will be changing. So your face value must be 1 rupee or a 10 rupee. Then if the price when it is come to the stock market, it is changing. Okay, so according to that only, we will be providing the money to the shareholders, the people, those who have buy the shares in your business. For example, you are issuing the 100,000 shares. Per share's face value is 10 rupees, and then the 1,000 people is going to buy your shares, and then 100 each of the shares will be issued. So how we find it? 100,000 shares will be divided by the 1,000 people. So your share capital is going to be 100,000 into the face value is 10,000. So it's going to be the 10 lakhs, the 10 million is going to be the total capital that you are going to receive through this business. So end of that year, the next year, you are receiving a 200,000 as the profit. Okay, now your capital is 10 million plus the 200,000. So 12 million thousands that you have in your business. So now you have to issue the dividends to the people. So you are announcing that you're going to give it to them as the 10%. So how to find the dividends to the people is 1 share into the each shareholders will be getting. So 10% of the face value, the 10 is the equal to the 1 per share. So according to that, the dividend is going to be the 100,000. So through that, now from your total value, the value how much you have issued to the people is going to be reduced that 100,000. So the 11 million is the total capital received. So according to that, the market value of that year is the 11 rupees. Now in the next year, the business is earning 500,000 a profit. So according to that, the total capital received to the business is this level will be added with that. So it's going to be 16 million. So now we have to find the dividend. One each shareholder will get it. 15% of the face value will be multiplied by the value. So 1.5. So you might be thinking, why aren't we looking the market value? Market value is 11. Why aren't we looking this, taking the 15% dividend through the face value? Because children, dividend is always calculated on the face value, not in the market value. So according to that theory only, we were added. So then what is that? 150,000 will be the dividend share to the 1,000 people. So in addition to that, so now the total capital received will be changing. So what will happen? This 150,000 will be reduced from this 16 million. So it will be 14,050,000. So according to that, the market value is going to be 14.5. So the dividend is always announced when the business company make the profit. So if there is no profit on that year, the business will never announce the dividend. And now we'll see the next year what will happen is the 600,000 loss the company is going to face. So according to the theory, the other people, they are not going to get the dividend, but the loss will be reduced through your total capital. So the total capital is going to be 8,050,000. So the market value will be 8.5. 5. So there's a drawback on this market value. So you might be thinking, will market value will affect to this face value? Definitely no. The market value, the changes will never affect to the face value. The face value will be the 10 rupees only. So in this scenarios, the situation 1, what we was done is the company has launched its shares, the market value and the face value is same. But according to the section 2 and the 3, what was happen is the company earned the profit. So according to that, the market value is increased than the face value. The situation 4, what was happening is the business market value is reduced than the face value. So I hope that you all have understood these all the 4 scenarios. So when the market value is equal to the face values, we say that is the per, and then when the market value is higher than the face value, we considered as the premium, and when the market value is reduced to the face value, we considered that as the discount. Type of shares. We all know there are several types of shares, but in this session we will be discussing only about ordinary shares and the preferences shares. Ordinary shares, a share entitled its hold to variable dividend and the right to vote. Preferences shares, a shares usually with no voting rights, which entitle the holder to the fixed dividends, whose payments takes pride over the ordinary shares dividends. Let's watch a video and improve your knowledge about the share capital.
Issued share capital is the amount of the shareholder's direct contribution. Do not confuse book value of shares with market value. If shares are publicly traded, there is usually no relationship between the amounts we see on the balance sheet and the price of shares on the open market. The company records its receipts of cash from the initial issue of its shares. What the shareholders do with the shares subsequently is between them and the new buyers. If the shares are sold on the open market for more than the original price, it has no bearing on the company nor the amount it records for issued share capital. Issued share capital may have several categories.
Ordinary shares. The most common type of shares are known as ordinary shares. Purchasing ordinary shares gives the owner a stake in the company and an entitlement to dividends. Dividends are the part of the company's profits that are paid out to the shareholders every 6 months when the company is making a profit. Most ordinary shares also give the shareholder a right to attend the company's annual general meeting and vote on issues relevant to the company's future. 2. Preference shares. Preference shares return a fixed dividend to the investor that is not linked to the company's annual profit result. Although preference shareholders receive dividends before ordinary shareholders, they do not receive the same voting rights as ordinary shareholders.
Now it's time to evaluate your knowledge. Below, I have mentioned several questions based on the source of finance, what we have discussed in this session. Let's try to answer these questions and evaluate your knowledge. Hope we all to see you in another session. Thank you.